close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And
The right skill sets to build Mirage, but do they have the right calls as far as how to deploy their playbook? Now
So this is going to be an A hit very quickly. HS is in the key spot here. So he's going to be basically baiting his teammates to get kills. So here's the first two. Can he connect? Just barely misses on the third, but this is very favorable. Naf is down his 4 points of health. So Nifty is the one who's going to have to be the difference maker here this round.
I felt like the game let HS down there. He was let down by Counter-Strike. He was taking his time. He was accurate. He was aiming, very well. But nothing happened for that third kill. But he got the first two, and that's really gone a long way. We can see that Naf's on 4, and Nifty, despite being full HP and with a USP and a decoy, which is very nice, it's going to be quite the effort.
Wait, did Mixwell not spot the terrorist running there?
It doesn't seem like he has that info. He doesn't have. It's too far away to hear the players as well. Although Freiburg will be in position in time here to, obviously, Renegades cutting the noise for so long has allowed Optic to think, okay, well, we need someone to keep eyes on B, and Freiburg's there to do that. Oh, see ya!
And that's just 2 bullets, and the round is completely turned around.
We'll see though. Mixwell's last man standing. Mixwell has all the skill in the world to apply to a pistol round such as this, and he can't do it this time around though. It's Naf with the kill. Naf actually, in recent matches that we watched at Renegades, has been really annoying with the Eagles. His pistoling has been very good.
Naf in general has been fantastic for the last 3 months. Ever since he joined Renegades, he's really been the just the hard carry fragger that they've always lacked, sort of. I mean, they have JKS who used to be very consistent. He is still today to some extent an azer. Neither one of them is very aggressive, which is what Naf brings to the table. But I thought that was a mistake on. Oh, we have a.
Yep.
All right.
Well, Salu, so he's doing this right now. This is the thing that he does right now. He's just doing this thing.
I might need to have a word with him about this tomorrow. Along with a couple other things. I mean, I just expect more of them. They have been delivering.
Renegades just slowing things down a bit. Vistillo's in a position to maybe make a pick if the CTs give some info. A lot of this is also about figuring out what the CTs are doing as far as their CT setup goes. How many players are where, and this can be information that can...
That's a nice shot.
It is a very nice shot. Deagle, like the one shots from the Deagle, it's like one of those things in Counter-Strike. It's like the great equalizer. It's like even if you have a big advantage, a guy can play a pixel angle and get a one shot with a Deagle, and then it just changes things. It gives you an opportunity, and I think it's actually good. But maybe we'll go back to this.
It's poor timing. Not at all ready for it. He just gets the first kill. He's gonna run out of bullets before the second one. Ooh!
Oh wow! Just a headshot.
Nice headshot there. RA did 50 damage on that one shot. Mixed with the headshot. JKS Well, does the same. 1v1, both of them low. JK has released the Clutch Buster for Renegades. But that's not enough, because Aegis gets his 3rd kill of the round. 1-1, all equalized.
Yes, he does. And the money's ruined for Renegades. Around that Optic should not have been able to win, but they do, with the pistols coming through.
The part of the problem for Renegades was, like you said, they were completely split around the map, which is fine. But they still did that until the 1 minute mark, and only then started grouping up, and they hadn't gotten any kills. And at that point, all it really takes is a couple of kills by the CTs and you're in serious trouble.
No map control either. It's just a recipe for disaster.
As he's pushing underground and dying to the first player. Also not very good yet. Now the mistake has compounded as Azur gets a kill with Alice UMP. The smoke by Freiberg very aggressively towards the B hallway. He's going to put Renegades off from going B. It looks like the bomb carrier is going to fall back to T-spawn now. Oh, they have 2 players who are looking to boost up the window, I believe, inside the smoke. One of them is going to be in the key position later on, but HS... Ooh,
Come on,
he doesn't stay there. It looked like he was going to stay there, boost it up so he could see above the smoke.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But he's actually fallen back, so that's the...
This could be a communication thing. It could be the fact that like his teammate on A playing ticket might be saying, look, you need to cover connector because I'm not looking there. Because it seemed like, as you say, he wanted to do it, but something changed his mind. It must be a teammate. Azur will take him down as well. That's a really big problem.
3rd kill for Azur this round. Make it 4. Looks like he's going to be going for the ace, as he's going to be beat by Freiberg. Gets taken out. 1v3 for Freiberg. 1v2. There's a player in connector who's surely going to kill Freiberg in just a second, but no! Gustillo gets taken out. It's a 1v1, and JKS has only 11 health.
Freiberg, man, here we go. He's used his incendiary already without the knowledge of where the player is. That's could be a problem, because imagine if he had an incendiary right now. That's really the thing. Now he's going for the hold here, just praying that JKS doesn't make the kill in time, but he does. Ooh, this is actually a super interesting round, because I feel like there's a lot of spots where you had to make very marginal decisions as the CT side, and there could be arguments made for like everything. So I would love to like break that round down, just like pause it at a bunch of points.
It is one of those rounds where, like, if you could hear what they said, as to what reasons they used to back all the decisions, it would be very interesting. JK is pushed here by 2 CTs. This is interesting. So the 2 CTs now have aggressively taken control of Palace. Unfortunately, they have no backing in the A side, where Gustillo has already pushed up and he's going to be getting a kill, while Mixwell goes down in the window room. So it's another highly favorable round now for Renegades. Let's see. That's a nice shot by HS. From the looks of it, it looked like Azur was for sure going to get that kill. And now Renegades are going to be heading up on Catwalk. They've smoked themselves off. And neither HS nor Freiberg is ready for this. So they're going to get the bomb planted in B. And this is going to take some serious heroics without a kit on the CTs. Oh, that's a terrible looking spray. 2 players very low on health. 12 health points on that, 24 and Nifty.
Just goes in, and he will quickly leave as quickly as he came. And it's interesting the way things have gone here. I feel like, based on the first few rounds, obviously Renegades are 3-1, but I feel much more convinced by their T side and their mid to late round decision making over Optic at the moment. And if Optic will struggle to get money together, that's a massive problem.
They've definitely looked better so far. I don't think there's any question about it. If anything, I think Optic had the breaks going there. That's a huge gun battle. There are 4 Optic players lined up in window room. They get one. Alu and Freiberg barely escape with low health. Nearly burnt alive. Last man standing is Freiberg, and it's only a matter of seconds at this point. It looks like it's going to be still flanking him, and that's an easy kill for him. 4-1 Renegades now.
And it's always interesting as well, as far as like a strategy goes. When you're like for example, like we had a round there where all of Optic wants to face mids, They want to try to like get their headshots with the USPs and maybe they had a deagle in there as well. And you're in a spot where it's the T's, you're like, oh, well, I have an advantage here because I could just get loads of kills. Everyone is standing there in mid, and you know, this is great. But at the same time, that is their best chance. That's literally their best chance to actually win the round, is get kills there.
And
just
early
like
aggression by Optic here. You have HS and Magisk going up middle. Allo got the first kill through the smoke, I think, from window. That was just completely unnecessary for Magisk. He was all by himself. There was no one to trade. He was low on health to the point he died from 2 Galil bullets. That was completely unnecessary. He really should have just fallen back with the advantage that they got from Allo's first kill.
It is interesting, like what happens now, because this is a really big test of the T side of Renegades and their calling, because it's a 4v4, which is actually a very favorable spot for the T's to be in, and you know they're trying to work B apps, and B apps can be very limited. It's very make or break based on the initial engagement versus Freiburg, who is the sole B man. They eventually get him on a trade, which is really good, but Alu is the next man to respond. Looking for the players as they drop out the apartments. He's able to pick up one, but what else can he get? These players are so low for Renegades.
And I don't think Naf knows that Alu's so... Oh, this will hurt him. That's a kill. Alu does not realize that Naf is already there. And it looks like he's actually going to run all the way towards A. Decides against it, after all. He must have thought that Mixwell was actually closer than he realistically was. Even though his teammate must have told him that he was all the way back in by T spawn. Let's see, Naf is going to be spotted by... No, he doesn't swing out, but Mixwell definitely heard him plant there.
Oh, he crosses.
Gets an easy kill there.
Yeah, I like that he cut the noise. I think that's obviously one of the smartest things you can do in that particular spot. But
I was very surprised that he actually wound up coming back to B. Because think of it this way: if you think as a CT the terrorists are going B, you get that kill rotating back towards B. Surely you just continue in B apartments. So he basically banked on the fact that Mixwell fell all the way back to Catwalk to not go back to A. So otherwise it would have been a slam dunk. Worked out this time, but surprised that he went for that call. Not a lot of money on Optic. One player survived. They have and one of them just went down. Trades the kill, but he's also very low on health. 4 on 3 in favor of Renegades. Allo with 8 points of health. It's going to be a tough round.
Yeah, no kidding.
Freiburg with an MP7.
I don't like to underestimate the SMGs in this game, but yeah, it's definitely not a good position. I have to say...
And Renegades are playing it slow, they're taking their time, they've fallen back, they're slowly regaining map control, taking over middle. Mixwell does not cut it. Azur gets headshotted, he's down to 12 health. JK is only down to 31. So it is definitely winnable, but the next kill has to go in Optic's favor.
It might very well do, as it was very low, but Mixwell didn't find an opportunity there. And Renegades will slowly move into the B split.
Mixwell is now rotating towards B, but he's the only player that way.
B split. As Mixwell.
And did he spot Nifty? Does now. That's one kill down. 3v3. 2 Renegades players low. Mixwell gets the second kill. He gets a third kill. Last on alive JKS, and he does get taken down by Freiburg. And that's a very important round for Optic. Also, in the sense that 3 other players survived, and now finally they're going to be able to save some money, even after dropping 2 of their players. Renegades, do you go for the buy, knowing that they could rake Optic's money if they were to win? So even though they're not going to have a ton of money, it's still easily worth it.
I always found it very interesting as far as like from a calling perspective. I might have to hold this for because we're seeing it again. Shut down by NAF, looking for that push from HS. But I think it's really important on the professional level to really understand, especially when there's certain teams playing a style, because you have in Counter-Strike is different to different other games, of course. So from round to round, you can have a team with a different objective. And to achieve that objective, they have to be particularly aggressive or particularly defensive, or they have to take a certain part of the map, or they have to look for engagements or picking opportunities, and so on and so forth. But if you deny that team like what they're looking for, it can be really interesting what actually happens. If you recognize what they want and just don't let them get it. Because there's a lot of spots where people just don't even think that far, and they just let the other team get what they want.
So it also comes down to how good the terrorists really are at playing the game, because some of the teams really focus on just a couple things that they're very good at, and those are the teams that you can counter easier, like you said, by figuring out what it is they actually want to accomplish every round and just taking that away from them. Then there's other teams that are just great on the terrorist sides, and you take one thing away, well, it doesn't matter because they have 3 other things that they can fall back on.
Yes. Yeah, well, we'll come back to this point because I think it's really interesting, but we do have a 3v4 here for Renegades, and they have 20 seconds to plant the bomb. They have enough control of the A to actually do so, but the flank that's coming from Freiburg could end the round if it's not ended prematurely by Magis. He does take down the planter. That's going to create a state of emergency here. They have to go back for the bomb, and there's no one to really cover them to do this. Azza, he's lost a round. He can't do anything here. All he has to do is not die.
That was a really good round by Magus. I mean, those 2 kills that he connected on, playing the bomb box. Nice shot on the first guy, and it was really nice how he just kept on challenging the second player. Because many more passive players, being someone like coldzera, I think, might have just fallen back when his first bullets didn't connect. But at the same time, you know that if you get that second kill, you completely blow the round wide open, so it's actually worth the risk. And finally, Optic have enough money for an op. Mixwell uses that to get an easy kill on NAF, as the Renegades are on basically a force buy of sorts. I mean, they do have 1 AK, and then just pistols on everybody else. And that's a nice headshot by JKS, and that is how you win some of these force buys. You just hit shots.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, the Eagle is the great equalizer in Counter-Strike. If you have the skill, you can make anything happen. Nifty trades the kill on Magus, and Ustillo hits a shot on Vegas. Now it's Alu and Primer, and Alu just missing shots. Taking the duel, unfortunately, against an op, and that's an easy killer in Ustillo. Now the X factor in this round is someone dropped the bomb.
Yeah, I was going to say they have to go over it. But obviously this is something that Freiburg doesn't know, so...
Yeah, no, it must have been NAF because he's the only player going middle, but he dropped the bomb, not only by T-spawn, but towards middle, actually. So this is going to be quite a hike for the Renegades players, who are still going to be able to get the bomb, but Freiburg has no idea. This has to be just a confusing round. But look, they are going to meet in middle. And Freiburg actually gets the better of it. Gets a spray on both players lined up. And that's what I call a lucky break for Optic. I mean, had the bomb been anywhere but in T-spawn, there's almost no way that this 1v2 just plays out this way.
It's just... There is... Yeah,
as long as they get the bomb down, Freiburg just doesn't win that with a UMP without a misplay.
I actually feel like people don't recognize how low percentage that is for Freiburg. If you actually see how it turns out, that's like a 1% chance to win that round. It's actually so small. Crazy for Optic. And the problem is that it may end up actually being a huge issue winning that round, because they may just get reset here. This is an awful start. This is a terrible spot. Magis is on an AWP. He's like one of the only 2 players remaining for Optic. HS somehow finds a long-range spray in middle. That is not very usual, and Magis able to catch Azza off guard. Azza clearly thinking that no one's in position, so...
And just like that, you've turned a almost impossible to win 2v5 into a 2v2 situation. Like you said, this is a must-win round for Optic. If they lose this, they're completely broke. It's going to be a double save. And all of a sudden, this half looks super favorable for Renegades. But let's see. Still a 2v2. They've smoked off just the right choke points to get them on planet. If you're Optic, you should have rotated very quickly towards CT spawn to stop the bomb plant. No, recognizing that there's only 2 players and 2 smokes have been used. But there is a small gap in the smoke, and HS gets his 3rd kill of the round. Now you've got JKS, admittedly the clutch master of sorts in Renegades. He's usually the last player left alive in a 1 versus 2 situation.
But so far, Lady Luck it's not just on Optic's side. I feel like is a sponsor of Optic at this point. Like an invested interest.
Last couple of rounds, for sure.
Invested interest in Optic's success.
Hex definitely has taken us. This is what we call a strategic investment. HS gets his 4th kill of the round. And this, like, if Optic end up winning about 10 rounds this half, this is going to be the one round or at least 2 rounds. First, Freiburg's 1v2, and then this 2v5 are the rounds we're going to come back to thinking, man, you don't turn around like that around a lot of the time. CS is the prolonged burst.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the kill through, like, even that smoke, if you just land the smoke perfectly, Renegades win that round.
Is someone going to pick up the bomb? I guess they're throwing the grenades first.
You would hope. You would hope so.
It is the entire point of this round is the bomb. Getting that plant, that small sort of beeping thing over there, emitting some light.
Is that HS right by he's taken a page from Vegas' playbook. Because that is exactly how he dominated the bomb side in the Dignitas days, playing in his previous team. And this is going to be around for Optic, surely. Just NAF left in a 1v3.
Having close players is so powerful. It's such a good counterplay. That third kill, that spray, so sexy from HS.
That was a really nice.
It was really nice.
Really nice turnaround. 90 degrees, instantly. I think he had like three bullets left at that point. Either that. Oh no, never mind. So he only got those 3, maybe 4 or 5 bullets off before dying.
Beautiful victory for Optic.
74, and is once again... Actually, this is the first full buy round for both teams, where both teams actually have what they want. And interestingly enough, despite Alu being the full-time opera of this team, at least officially, it is Mixwell who is up in on MURAH.
Yeah. It's a really weird game right now. For Optic, they're experiencing victory. It's a sour thing for Renegades. A sour thing indeed.
Yeah, there's been some sourness in today already.
For all the sourness. Let's see whether or not Renegades can turn things around. Make it a bit sweeter. Perhaps. Maybe they'll be experiencing some success here in this round. Maybe
they get
take middle.
Maybe they'll get the Misfits experience of
It's very possible.
Nifty gets the entry kill on Alu, coming up from underground with an op. You also don't see that every day.
No.
Must have gone for the B pick early on. You see HS coming back to inside the smoke, which is the round where he made the turnaround in the 2v5 with the 2 FAMAS kills. Right now, Renegades are grouping up towards the A bomb site. Let's see.
Is he going to get peeked upon in mid? No.
Vegas back in his office playing TRAM, but
yesterday was like the worst day ever for Magisboy. I feel like today. Hoping that it would go better. I think it was yesterday. Every day seems the same. But
nice shot from Azur.
Ooh, Azur's going ham.
Too. Now it's HS left in a 1v5, and he should be saving his weapon. He should not be pushing through that smoke.
Oh my god, Azur's gonna get all the cookies, man.
He will get all the cookies.
All the cookies. Oh my god.
You know, if Magus did just post up in his spot on top of the little base on the right, he probably gets those 2 kills round his stairs. A year ago, that is exactly what he was doing in just about every single round. Yeah. And he was still getting all the kills. And most of the rounds were his teams.
Well, it's adaptations have been had. A full USP round here for Optic. They are poor. There's nothing but the Brussels sprouts for them. Yes. Oh, the spray comes in. Can't get the third one.
Nifty misses. We see an awkward USP against Op duel where the Op actually runs away. Vegas gets in the inside. He's getting taken up by NAF. And Meatball is the last person alive.
He's upgraded from Brussels sprouts to a filet mignon.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. But he can't get anything else, it seems. He's got the 2 kills. But he's bitten off more than he can chew. He's going to back away.
And this is one of those things where he just runs out of time. Sometimes you just ask for the check early, or you're just not going to make it. And Mixwell definitely overstayed his welcome. 7-6 for Optic. But this is now getting into that uncomfortable territory where even if you win the last 2 rounds, you kinda, to some extent, do need to win the pistol or the second round and gain money control. Because otherwise, Renegades will just have too easy of a time setting up their defense. But let's see.
I feel like, where this game has gone as well with Optic. I mean, if they're not getting the victory here, they're going to have to drown their sorrows in the bar later on. Because they've had a lot of very fortunate moments in this map.
Well, hopefully they do have some nice Southerners
Yeah.
to spend time with.
It's always a good thing.
AHS and Magisk playing aggressively in connector. Basically, Aegis baiting for Magisk. Let's see. What's going on? Molly and Aegis going. They're going for a very delayed retake. Dealing a lot of damage to Nifty. He goes down. Peeking. And hard to see what's going on inside the Molly, but Azure gets 2 kills. But it is a 1v2 and he only got 6 points of health.
Yep.
It would have to be a massive mistake on Optic's part. And who knew? Bomb is stuck in T-spawn.
It's great. It's cool to see that Optic are really happy to just take fights. They really want to fight over mids very badly. And it's sort of this round at least was a be-all and end-all for the round. I mean, obviously the round is still going, but it's very difficult to see Azure with such a disadvantage winning with 6 HP, but we'll see if he can do something. The funny thing is that the MP7 is like almost one of the best weapons in this kind of a spot where you have this amazing movement speed whilst and also running accuracy, and you need to connect one bullet. That's perfect. It's actually so perfect.
That is what SMGs are good for. Mixwell playing very passively in spawn. Let's see which plant Azure goes for. So he's going to go for the connector plant, understandably. And he's going to be able to get the bomb down. But the only thing going for him in this situation, besides getting the bomb down, is that Mixwell has an op. That's literally the only thing. But given that Optic don't know that, if they haven't communicated that the last player is low, there's actually a chance where Freiberg is the one who starts defusing, and they have the op cover. It's a 1v2 now, but it doesn't happen. Freiberg is the one spamming the SMG, and that's an easy kill. Like you said, 1 bullet, got 30 to spray. 8-6 Optic, and considering they started, what, like 1-3, 1-4 down after the initial trade-off, it's actually turned out to be a very decent CT half. Admittedly, they've had, maybe it wouldn't go as far to call it luck, but things could have turned out a whole lot worse if a couple of things didn't go their way.
Yeah.
8-6. And Renegades on a full buy, they've actually got money left in the bank for the final round. Let's see what they end up doing.
It's kind of funny too because it feels like Optic are in a spot where they should probably, like, it feels like Renegades should be winning this half.
They should be. It definitely feels like Renegades have been the better team.
Yeah.
Thus far in this game.
So Freiberg tested. I would love to see Optic having, just doing really well as a team. Obviously, I know there's some, like for example, Moses, Jason, he
really does hate Optic.
He does. I'm not. So I would never say that he hates Optic. I would never go so far as to say that. But I feel like yes, he does. He thinks that Optic's ability to field success in the next month or two is not. He doesn't have the highest hopes on them, just because the understandable task of getting a good map pull is very difficult with someone who's very new to in-game leading as well, despite all the skill
that is definitely the challenge for Optic, right? So. Yeah. I actually spent some time talking to Freiberg when we were filming the Philips commercial.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked a lot about how he felt about in-game leading. Talked for, hours that same day, because we were there for like 10 hours or something. He was the only other person that I knew. And it did sound like he had a fairly good idea of what to expect in the role, how to go about it. We'll come back to this in a second. Renegades are executing into the A side. Look at this. Vegas just barely misses on the third.
They can't line up better than that, can they? Mixwell on triple with the flick shots, looking for the final kill. And it should be an easy one. Although he'll miss the shot, it is a 4v1. Nifty, unable really to get all that much in the way of opportunity, but he finds one somehow, sifting for gold, and he gets one onto Mixwell. Oh, such a weird, crazy spot there, just jumping across. The miss comes in, and that's 9-6 for Optic, holding the A attack.
That was one of those rounds where, because he was 3v1 with 10 seconds left, that was a round where classic my call would have been everybody run away as fast as you can so that he just doesn't get a chance to even shoot at anyone, because that's the most frustrating way to lose a round.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, to come back to the point, I actually was kind of impressed with how Freiberg thought about the game. I thought he had a lot of smart ideas, generally had the right mindset for how to go about it. Obviously, it is two different things to sort of... That was, I think, like 3 days before he was flying out to Chicago to meet up with the team, so he hadn't played yet. So it's a different thing to execute. But I think he definitely seems to have the right tools for it.
That's very encouraging. So fast push into A from Optic as Mixwell's just going to find themselves some cheeky kills through the smoke.
But by the way, this is the pistol that Alu's teams have been running for the last 4 years.
This pistol's really good.
This is all the pistol that we've been running with in every puck that I've ever played with Alu and Mirage. So someone should at some point catch up to this.
To be fair, this is the best pistol in my opinion for Mirage.
I think so. And you basically always get the after plant because it's nearly impossible to stop. The only thing that stops it is if the guy by ticket booth gets like 2 entry kills. Just right off the bat.
The thing about this as well is that like a lot of teams don't understand that the entire point of this is taking CT with like 2 or 3 players.
No, exactly.
Like,
you
have
push
to
in
take
CT. It's what Virtus Pro used to run for the longest time with Bialy leading the rush out of Palace.
And it's the other thing about it as well is that like for me, I feel like the objective of T-side should be to facilitate the bomb plant in the most guaranteed way possible. And then winning should be sort of an afterthought, because the thing that you can actually kind of guarantee is the bomb plant. You can never guarantee the win, because the pistol rounds are random.
If you basically guarantee the bomb plant a lot of the time, the after plants are almost always 50-50 type scenarios.
Yeah.
Maybe even more if the bomb's planted in a 5v5, 4v4 situation. And also, if you've got the bomb plant, the second round now looks a whole lot better for you.
Oh, for sure.
That's, I think, something that people don't take into consideration, where even if you win the pistol, let's say 50% of the time, if the other way, you have another, say, 40-60 chance second round versus 20-80, you should take that into consideration in what you call. Because it's obviously dependent on the pistol round. How has Nifty not gotten that kill?
That's crazy. Yeah, he got unlucky there, I think. Not to just get a good connection.
That's something like what Sonny experienced on Nuke going on right there, where the bullet just does not go anywhere near a crosshair.
Well, the thing, okay, this is like another thing with it. Another thing with the pistol rounds is the fact that, like, if you get the bomb down, you have so many opportunities to be in the game, constantly pressuring. Whereas if you don't get the bomb down, you're not in the game for 2 rounds. And that's, I say that obviously people can win force buys, of course, but at the same time, you never want to rely on a force buy. And so if you have a bomb plant and you lose a round, you could actually force the next round with loads more money and have loads of utility. Now we're talking, because we can actually create a round with a lot of utility and some guns. So you can create the pressure. You have the option to make pressure straight away, or you can wait 1 round and then get pressure straight away with better guns. So you're always in with a potential advantage, even if you lose the pistol round in the second round or the third round, if you get the bomb down. So I really respect teams that decide to create a round specifically where it's like, we get the bomb planted. That's why on train, so many teams just go to B, because it's like, well, we can get that so easily.
And part of the consideration is also the fact that there's so many teams. Well, let's say there's quite a few teams who do that, and they go for pistols where they always get the bomb down, and then somehow those are always the teams that win the most second round buys, and that's because they actually get to practice them every single time they lose a pistol.
Yeah.
Because they always get the bomb down, versus the teams who only get the bomb down, say, half the time they lose a pistol, or 1/3 of the time. That's going to give them twice, 3 times as much practice in the second round, so obviously they should be doing much better on them.
Yeah.
Nappy's now left in 1v4, gets taken up by Magus because it's an easy round for the Optic Gaming guys. 12-6 lead, fairly comfortable, and it's going to require not only for Renegades to win the next 2 rounds, to not have their money broken, but also have just a very strong CT side now.
Yeah, the interesting spot here is that we get to see what Optic decide to do against the first buy round. So they should be aware that Nifty can and will have an AWP. They have the also expectation perhaps of a lack of helmets, which encourages Mac 10. And the Mac 10 is really cool because there's lots of amazing stuff you can do for purpose with an SMG. You can decide, even if you have the money for an AK, you might want to buy it just because your job is more suitable with an SMG than a rifle. So I'm hoping we see something cool from Matches. He's the first man in, and he's drawing the fire, but there's no second player straight away.
That's the problem.
It works out fine though.
Exactly. It's a 3v3 right now. Bomb is about to get planted. Nifty connects on an op kill. 2v3, still very much a winnable round. Might actually still favor the terrorists, just because everybody's coming from kitchen. They don't know that though. Alu is holding the flank, but Freiburg's in a good spot where as soon as he shoots, Alu's going to be able to peek. But it looks like Nifty is kind of in Alu's corner.
Ooh,
Exactly.
the flash timing, so
And that,
sick.
That worked out perfectly, because as soon as Naf swung out, Nifty was still holding for that peak, so they were basically expecting Alu to peak.
And the important thing there is they made Freiberg look away. Obviously, that's basically what won the round. And that's otherwise an incredibly difficult spot to play, because if Freiberg doesn't look away, he has a massive advantage on the first frag. And obviously, like, the second player has to swing out and kill him, but then that's when Freiberg's teammate kills that guy. So it's, if you don't deal with Freiberg properly, then you lose a round.
And also the second player was Nifty coming out of there. Aside from the guy jumping out a window, who actually Freiberg is also favored to kill. So it's a tough spot for the CTs, but they played that really smart. Now, Optic still have a lot of money for the next 2 rounds, because they basically didn't die on the anti-eco rounds, but some extra pressure on Renegades.
This is quite cool.
hard here.
Yeah, they're basically sitting in connector. And so this is interesting because it gives Optic, if they want to take positioning on mid, Renegades want to fight for it. They actually, that's what their position's posture. We are willing to fight over middle. We don't want to give this away for free. And here it is. We get the NAF with he finds an active connector, and there's a second frag mate. They can try to stabilize now, try to get out of these positions, but they've done their job.
And Optic players are just falling left and right. Freiberg finally connects on a shot. Naf actually has 1 point of health, but Agent needs to get a kill. Doesn't happen. And it's definitely going to be a round for Renegades, second in a row.
And this is really cool because Renegades basically found out this round that Optic were really unable to deal with their connector setup, and they just got outplayed. 2 frags unreturned from connector. That's a really big advantage. You can't, as the T side, allow that to happen. So for me, I'm looking for, in the next round, how Optic could adjust to dealing with connector, because this was the reason they lost this round.
The thing is, Optic were not at all ready for an aggressive connector push that round. They didn't particularly well smoke it. They didn't pre-nade it, didn't molly it.
Yep.
So the good thing for Renegades is because they only push connector that round. Next round, if they do just a more of a standard middle aggression, where they have people in window and coming up catwalk from B as well, that's not going to be the same thing for Optic, whereas if you do the same thing, Optic still wouldn't probably expect it. It's going to be just a smoke hit towards A. Nifty misses the opening shot. Magus gets one. And Magus gets a second kill on Nifty. And now this bomb side is wide open.
Great pressure from Optic there. I mean,
And just a perfect bomb plan
yes.
for the T-Ram players as well. And now we see Alu running all the way around from T-spawn here. It's actually holding his gun out because last round Freiberg did get surprised right around that area by Azure having pushed up. And so Alu's going to be in the perfect flank. I mean, the plant isn't great for him, but he will be making it there on time.
And you need utility as the CTs in this spot, and they didn't really have much going into this 3v4.
Oh, but he peeks too early.
Mixwell has to kill the bomber. Oh, the bomb diffuser, and he won't be able to do it. Wow.
That was
Renegades were at a big disadvantage.
Yes, they were not supposed to win that round. That was Optic's mistake. Alu is the one who really should have just hit him behind the corner for a second instead of going for the peak at that point. Because as Renegades are moving into the site and there's still 3 players left alive, you gotta figure there's at least a chance someone is in the jungle area flanking from B, or a connector flanking from middle. And as a result, you look for flank, and Naf connects on the shot. That's it right there. If Alu gets that kill, I think it's round Optic. Guaranteed almost.
Definitely. I mean, that's the thing, like, the A side is really retakeable for the CTs if you have the utility. The incendiaries go really, really far, especially, and the smokes too. So, but the Renegade side only had 1 incendiary and no smokes, so they didn't have the utility.
In hindsight, Alu probably also should have just jumped in a window from catwalk, because then he would have had the direct angle on the bomb. But I mean, you can always nitpick the smallest details after the fact. So now it's going to be another quick A hit. Optic don't have a lot of money. Aegis is going to be on the flank. I believe this is Aegis coming from underground. Naf is pushing through the smoke bench, but this is actually going to be the delayed version where they throw the mollies and then flashes come. But Naf completely sees Aegis coming, and the smoke for jungle is completely ruined.
Bomb has been planted.
But it doesn't actually surprisingly hurt them. Naf gets his second kill of the round on Alu. It's a 2v4 right now, and this is going to be a very tough round for Optic. It's going to have to be some heroics for them to have a chance.
Kills start to get exchanged. It's just Mix on F1v3. Gets the first one, but he is traded. And the thing that worries me right now is that Optic are going for a lot of A set pieces. And I fear that they're doing this because they are not confident in taking map control in middle. And the last time we saw them do that, they were beat out by Renegade's connector presence. But that should not be an intimidating factor of the CT defense.
The thing about Mirage T side, I think, is the only way you can have these like massive 12-3 type halves, which some of the best terrorist side teams do have, is by taking mid control, forcing duels where you get to constant 3v3 type scenarios, and then it actually is possible to just win rounds that you shouldn't win a lot of the time, because you get into favorable 3v3s. But you can't do that if you just attack offside, and that is what Optic are doing. And it's looking like another easy round for Renegades, admittedly not on a full buy, but just a mow down for Ustillo and Azur. Meg is last man alive. It's going to be peaked by JKS. Time, Naf is first. And by the way, Naf has looked really good on Renegades. It actually is starting to look like, even though he is the one who got left out of the boat when all the Optic players basically just departed for Cloud9 and Liquid over time, it actually looks like that performance in the grand finals of E-League Season 2, where he just carried them against Astralis, maybe actually he could do that again. He's looked very good, very consistently. He's been by far Renegade's best player ever since he joined. And what I said like a week or two ago is, you know, maybe Optic should have tried harder to keep him on the roster as a key player, as Alu trades against 50. And now finally, we get to that traded 4v4 scenario, which is heavily favored by the terrorists, as you said earlier. Magus also gets a kill JKS. It's a bit of a mistake when you're peeking too close that your feet can be seen, but Magus also then goes for the aggression when there's no need to.
The problem there as well is that his flashbang timing with the peak is really off as well. Like it's like the other player has so much time to just dodge and then face you, because it's a very common play to actually flash that before peeking it. So it's unexpected, and that's an issue.
We've got Ustillo already pushing through the middle. He just misses on HS, who gets into connector. Let's see which way he goes. It looks like he's going to go around. Mixwall gets the kill on him. There's dual ops on the terrorist side currently. And Ustillo is going to go for the save. And this is just the first full weapon round win for Optic after 5 straight wins for Renegades. 3 of them with defuses. So many of those actually were favorable at Optic for Optic at one point or another. Maybe not plenty of money, but plenty enough for a buy round for Renegade. So they are going to go for a buy next round. Optic are also going to have plenty of money because they can drop 2 AKs. And the next round is actually going to be super valuable for both. Optic might save if they... Well, actually, yeah. I think both of them save if they lose the next round. So then it becomes 15-11 or 13-13. So a lot at stake here. Ustillo is going to drop the op, I assume, for Misty.
Have Optic actually gone B at all?
Not in successful rounds. They had the 2v3 for Freiburg and Alu. Right, and they got mowed down 2 rounds ago. But I think that's the extent of it. So like you said, it just doesn't seem like they're very confident on their T side. So they just go for straight up executions. And it worked out too well. Nifty. Nice entry. That was a Fallon-esque play. Just go an aggressive T ramp with an up, but it works out for him.
Yeah, it does seem like Optic are definitely a little bit... They're not finding the best solutions on their T side so far. I like this just because it's map control based. So I have a bias towards teams that can play off of taking map control. And so right now, you know, we've got Optic in middle, and I like this from Renegades. They're challenging that mid control, and they have been doing that just as Optic were, trying to re-challenge. Azur with a great boost there to find the angle onto HS. Lots of creativity here around the mid position in Mirage to try to win the day. And speaking of winning the day, we got 5v2. That's all based around the plays around mid. So Optic have not done what they needed to do here. Renegades, beautiful from them. And you can see why perhaps Optic wouldn't have confidence in taking mid now.
No, it didn't look good. Naf is going to gets taken off. Doesn't hit the jumping option, surprisingly. 1v3 now. I think Optic could actually go for a smoke A execute. I think they've got about maybe 500 to 1k in the bank, some of them more. Yep, exactly. So they could actually go for a decent buy if Mixwell is able to save his op. And basically, all you really need, like, if I'm Optic now, what I do is I tell Mixwell, save your op, then I go for the A smoke execute into the A bomb site, get a couple of them with CZs, just get the bomb down. But actually, make sure you get a molly for bench so Renegades can't push through the smoke, plant for a connector, and have Mixwell actually flank all the way from B. Because then that's all it takes is for him to get there and the bomb to get planted, and he's got a really good shot at winning it.
All right, let's see if they decide to go for the A play with Mixwell through B abs and onto short. It can be tough.
By the way, I also think that some of the time you should not take timeouts. I'm not saying this is one of them. Might be, might not be. But if you've got a good idea fast and you take a timeout to explain it to your team, that's when the other team is also going to be thinking, okay, what could they think about? And that's how you actually get the reads on some stuff that doesn't really make sense to do, such as one where you would have the operator just flank all the way across the bomb site. So let's see. Let's see if Optic agree with my assessment. They are sending, it appears, Mixwell middle, 4 people towards A, but it is 3 people Palace, so it is slightly different. They don't have a lot of, they got 3 smokes, couple flashes, 4 in total. So it is going to be an A hit, but it's not going to be the same one that I would have prescribed. Meanwhile, Renegades actually have 3 players towards B, so if Optic go for the push now, they could get it backside. They just straight to kill on JKS. Naf already down to 10 health. Optic should be getting the bomb down now.
Here it is. And just goes to the default plants. And Renegades up for the retake. There's
4v4.
3 incendiaries as well as a couple smokes. So the utility's there for Renegades. This is a pretty even looking round. But you have to sort of wait out the smokes. And Ali's position, I think, is really one of the key prospects.
I think he's the key player.
Yeah. You get this kill, and then, yeah, this looks insane to go down. Oh, well, it could very well be over right now, because how do you deal... You cannot deal with this if you don't have... If there's players around jungle, you have no one to deal with them. Oh! Ali gets himself a quad kill.
That was a nice play, because when he went through that, when he broke the vent, and Renegades heard that, you think, okay, this is it. Surely he gets taken down instantly. That was a nice spray control. 2 kills total, 2 kills there, 4 kills total, and Renegades are broke. And that should set Optic up for map point.
Yeah, and it has been a bit of a struggle on this T side. Optic, a team that has said that they can play every map.
Well, you know, when a team says that, what it really means is they're equally good on all maps. And when you're equally good on all maps, what that really means is you're not good on any single one of the maps. I mean, it sounds like an exaggeration, but Optic, at a World Elite level, they are not good on a single map to that level.
That's a very fair assessment. I mean, if you took
they're a good
level.
team. I'm sure they've got about 4 maps where they can upset decent teams, or good teams, and 3 maps that it's probably not going to happen on.
But if you think of FaZe's best map, or Astralis' best map, or
there's
VPs,
no way there is a map that they're favored against FaZe or Astralis.
Yeah.
So Freiburg is going to get the bomb down. It's a 5v3 right now. It's going to be another round for Optic, and it's going to set him up with 3 match points.
The problem is, for me, that Optic have only really shown a propensity to be able to deal with one half of the map. Like, they really don't have much in the way of B or A hits. Like, I feel like if I would love to see Optic just have a week of binging just MSL demos on MURAH. You know, just to really figure out that T-side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be the most apt to them. I mean, because basically, if there's any tactic that an MSL team can run that is not reliant on config getting 2 headshots, then any team can run it.
and a lot of it is like they're very good at taking mids. They're very good at developing mid control into connector, ladder room, and and more window perhaps, and then making plays off of it. And that's, as well as all the executes that they run, they have, there's a classic Danish 4-1 B split, where it's always the IGL that goes up short by himself. You know, there's a lot of characteristic stuff that's very effective. Wow, that is so
Freiberg with 2 headshots to open up the round.
He's making this look like an eco round, an anti-eco. That's insane.
And Alu just walks out of Palace. This is surely a 2v5 now in favor of Optic. And Renegades should not be able to get into it. Nap gets 1 kill. Gets some Magus peeks Justillo, and they know where Nap is. So 4v1. This is surely going to be the end of this. Bullshit road. Alu gets the final kill. He's going to burn alive. Looks like Alu's okay paying for dinners. He did play pretty. 24 kills.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
Yeah, seems like a good enough effort.
He had a game.
So 16-12 for Optic puts Renegade down to, I think, 3 and 4 on the standings, where everybody else has basically played 15 games. So, you know, it still doesn't say a whole lot for them. Big win for Optic though.
It's an interesting game to watch just because of the fact that we saw Optic having a great time on that CT side, and then all of a sudden they get to that T side and they're sort of like, oh, well, middle seems pretty difficult to deal with. Guess we'll go away, I guess, the rest of the match. The
difference maker for them basically was the fact that they won the T-pistol. Without that, they would have already lost by the time they figured out what would actually work for them.
That's a really good point. Honestly, I feel like this was a very, 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 very close match. I feel like the team could have won it here. I feel, to some extent, I feel like Renegades played better.
I actually, oddly enough, even though Renegades had a similar early good start on the CT side, I also do feel like Renegades played better. Optic won a couple of clutches that they perhaps should have won, but you know, that is Counter-Strike. Sometimes you win rounds, sometimes you lose rounds.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, you know, you may be thinking, oh, we say that they play better. What is this? Where is this? What's this drawing? Okay, all right. So you've got the UMP. You're pointing to a UMP. Freiberg has a UMP, right? He throws the UMP. He picks up the M4. All right. So he's making noise. But
the part that we're missing from there is he dropped the UMP to make the CT who was in jungle think that he was under a window, and then he actually peeked the person in jungle and got the kill. That was around that, or that was the kill that actually swung the round.
What a baller!
Naf 123 ADR, about the same as Sunny, I think, had on Mirage. Got outdone by Sunny, but 200 total damage.
That is so, like, whenever you get like 3k plus though, that is like, you had a pretty bloody sick game. And wow, Naf is, I mean, you said it, you were saying it during the match, Naf has been exemplary, and we continue to see that. It's good stuff. Well, that was an interesting one. Well, it's going to be even more interesting. We're going to be moving into Train. I think this is a map that both teams are, you know, really happy to play. They're both very good on it. So I think we'll be in for a decent match. I think this was really close. I think it's hard to separate the two teams. I feel like we could see, I saw clear issues for Optic. So
I think everybody did. It'd be pretty hard not to see issues for Optic.
Right, so what are you thinking for the next game? Are we expecting a Renegades victory? Or?
Well, I think Train is Optic's pick. They've got a couple of pretty good uppers. So you got to give them the edge, but it is of the 16-13, 16-14 magnitude. Like, I think anything could happen. I think they're by no means a big favorite, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, it is time to go to a quick break, guys. We'll be back once we set up the next map. Of course, it will be Train. See you shortly.
The perfect competitive environment. It means no crowds, no distractions. It's not that we don't love the fans. We figured we'd go back to what made us great by recreating the perfect competitive environment.
Can't you win like a car in FaceIt? Guys, do you want to take the car?
Tune in to the ECS Season 4 Finals, December 15th through 17th. It's going down in Cancun, Mexico. Live, only on youtube.com/FaceIt.
logo there. Face office and studio. And it's James. How's it going, James? Do you want to say hello to all of my vlog friends?
You're vlogging again?
I vlog all the time. That's what I do. I'm a vlogging fiend.
I don't care about your bloody vlogs. See what crap you've been recording on here.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
It's vlogging. Hello, guys. I'm vlogging. I do this all the time. So let's do it. Hello. Oh, Jesus, that's nice. It's gonna be Blair Witch vlog.
Dan, your vlogs suck. If you think you're a better vlogger than Dan, which probably isn't hard, then you can prove it by entering our competition. Details are below. The winner of the competition will be able to come to our finals in Cancun and vlog at the finals, maybe even from the phone party. If you're a fan of crutches, then get your hands on this. But now let's focus on an even greater product, Taser.com, a competitive gaming platform.
Wow, James, that sure sounds amazing.
It is amazing, Dan. On Taser, you can find the toughest dudes in the galaxy.
I heard it's got all these great features for real gaming.
Yes, it has, Dan. Like a voice communication system. Just post one to your friends.
Wow, James, that sure is cutting-edge technology.
Radios must be within a 10-metre straight line with clear line of sight and sunny weather with no wind.
Do you keep getting wrecked by hacker noobs online? Introducing new Taser security system.
Wow, it's so lightweight. It feels like there's nothing inside.
That's correct, Dan, but there's more.
Behavioural index to keep you from playing with idiots. An easy way to send in your results. Multiple game titles. And here you can see a happy customer.
It's great!
If you sign up within the next 4 minutes, you will get these items for free. James White's best Christmas songs. Watermelon signed by Dan Black.
Fan är det här?
I'm here.
here. They're just trying to get bomb planet. Normally it pays off to get the smoke in these scenarios, just to give you a chance of getting the bomb down by going down lower. JK has 4 kills and an assist. Obviously, one of the Optic players burns alive.
They got the bomb down, so
no, they can't buy.
As we discussed, you get the bomb down. You have 2 choices. The choices are give up pressure on the second round, and then to have a better buy and incredible presence on the AE yard in the third round, or you buy in that second round and have pressure immediately, which is so amazing compared to not having a plant. Anyway, I would love to see them go outside, and they are 3-1-1, so that's a good sign.
4 SMGs for Renegades, by the way. Yeah, that just speaks to the. This is actually one of the sort of bold decisions, because do you actually buy up now, knowing that you really can't afford to lose?
So I love that they go alley here, because if you're against SMGs, it's more likely that they will be around teammate and pop dog. In most cases.
Oh, Magus misses what would have been the round clinching kill on Nifty. It's a 2v2, HS and alley. Nifty's by old bomb train. JKS is in Z. The bomb is going to be planted. Oddly enough, Nifty's rotating to inner, which means they're both going to be coming out of Z hall, which makes the retake a bit more awkward. HS spots the first player, but he obviously wouldn't expect Nifty to also be in Z.
May work out, yeah.
2v2.
Spotted.
That's a smart peek from HS. Alu's now in a 1v1, and I think he must have seen the gun flying that way. So he's going to be able to just hide here in between the 6 trains. Go for the easy peek. Not connect on his shot.
That's fine. That's very fine. And peek.
There we go. Made it much closer than it should have been, though. But like you were saying before the hit came, if you're the CTs and you have multiple SMGs, you're going to be playing aggressive outside. More often than not, the terrorists are going to be coming teammate and ladder. They might have people coming out of alley, but they'll still have more people coming out of teammate and ladder. So as a result, it's a good read, or adjustment rather, by the terrorists to instead go full on Ivy.
It's kind of like a mind game situation, isn't it? Because the Ts have such favorable engagements from teammate and pop dog, but at the same time, the SMGs, that's the only place that they can do a lot of damage. And if you're dealing with a rifle or an SMG or an alley, it's kind of the same thing, and there's less opportunity to do stuff on alley. So it's really interesting, actually. This is one of the reasons why you love Counter-Strike, because the metagame could very well change that dynamic massively, where you might see the AKs go in a completely different spot just because of what people expect. And
this is the first 2 kills go in the way of Optic. JKS and Nath go down, 5v3, and it should be a save round for Renegades, who are already running towards Ivy.
The classic explosion.
13-6 now. And Azur and Magus are both on the same train. They're combining for 9 kills. Everybody else has 10 or above. Everybody on Optic has 15 or above. So it's a bit of a rough game for those two. Freiberg is already way ahead of the game.
Big kill. That's a really big kill.
Oh, and he also gets Nifty. And these kills are actually worth so much, because without these, it's a near perfect buy for the next round for Renegades. And now Renegades are instead going to be broke, and Optic looks poised to get to 14. In fact, the money situation looks so poor that Renegades might actually just go for the force buy. I wouldn't do it, but it would be somewhat understandable if you just took the risk thinking that 6-4 team is too much of a deficit to come back from.
There's actually an argument in that situation to have like a save strategy where you don't just go to the same spot everyone goes to, which is what they did. But you maybe clear together another different space and try to like move together as a team, because that is so huge. They've got nothing in this round to fight with. Some things here or there, but the AKs are too strong in this position.
4v2 right now. Nifty's waiting for someone. Walking on the screen. Gets Zero is the last man standing. The butterfly knife won't save him. It's 6-14.
I would like everyone to know as well that me and Lepis played a game of rock, paper, scissors, and I did win.
He did win.
I won.
In my defense, not really in the way of my strategic thinking, sure. but in the way of winning overall. We also played credit card roulette some nights ago, and Dan lost way more. So
yeah, I lost way more because it was like a tab of like 4 or 5 people. So I lost like $100 or more. Yay. Anyway, get wrecked. Anyway, thanks to the soundboard.
And
You
Stillo
bastards.
gets surprised by how close up the party is. Yeah, they're playing so fast. Aegis with 2 entry kills. Is he going to get the third? Naf is so low. Aegis is going to go for the peak, and he gets a quad kill. And that's a very, very fast round for Optic, who now have 9 match points.
It looks like they've lost their way ever so slightly. I mean, you kind of need enough of a start on the CT side, and they never really got a good start going. There's never was really any economy going for them. So,
this whole game has just been a nightmare ever since that eco loss where Owl had the off saved at 4-3 in the first half. Just been a nightmare. So 15-6 now.
and we'll see Optic sort of waiting out the initial potential aggressions that could be in store for them from the CTs, and there's one. Guess they weren't ready for that. There is Freiburg close, but Nifty is right above, trying to get some value from the CZ. Got to be careful, 2 bullets left. We know the CZ is very dangerous, no matter what.
Freiburg gets his 2nd kill of the round. Out of team middle now. Nifty 1 health point. This is gonna get tricky, especially with the molly right there. Make that 2. HS is gonna peek, get the kill. Justillo has, meanwhile, pushed through alley into team main. He's left in a 1v2.
He has the bomb. I don't think he knows though.
Probably not.
He has no idea
And
he has the
it
bomb.
doesn't matter.
Unfortunately.
Freiburg gets the triple, ends the game, 16-6. It's just a very, very dominant game from the Optic side after a bad start. I mean, they went 14-2 after the initial start. This is great play by them. Good comeback. I mean, they certainly didn't look this good on the opening map, but this was their map pick, so you should expect more. Good play by them. Speaks for, I mean, has some promise going for this weekend's. What is the tournament called again?
Well, I remember Oakland.
No. The tournament this weekend. That's in Santa Ana. It's.
Oh, I don't know what it's called.
Oh, iBuyPower, of course.
the
It's the
iBuyPowerland.
same as last year before IEM Oakland. Sort of the prelude tournament.
Nice.
So Optic are there. I think Renegades are there. I think basically everybody from North America except for SK are there.
You know, it was at the iBuyPowerland like years ago, where on iBuyPower, it's like, what was it? It's iBuyPower versus Cloud9, I think. There's that cash game where, you know, Shroud was like, had some very, very important plays in overtime and so on. I saw some of those clips recently again. I was like, I do miss Shroud.
I saw him last weekend, as did you.
I was with you.
And Mike was looking pretty happy. I wouldn't feel too bad for him.
Man,
I think he made the right call, but he was certainly looking like he's enjoying life.
Yeah, he hasn't shaved in a while. That's usually a good indicator of your life going really, really well or really terribly. So it's one of the two, and I think it's well for him.
Which one is it for you?
Oh, I think everyone knows. So, yeah, great performance from Freiburg. Actually, we could see that he's doing an excellent job on the kills, which of course that's everything. The numbers mean everything. It's great. Well, that has been
numbers never lie, Dan.
They don't lie. They have no agenda.
They might not tell the full story, but they don't lie.
It's true. It's very true. It is people that lie. People are the problem. People will always be the problem. Right, so we've got CLG and Renegades coming up. So we just had Renegades. The next map will be Mirage, which of course we did just see from Renegades. So against CLG, can we get a quick few tidbits from you here as to how you feel Mirage should shape up versus CLG?
I'm really still, years and years later, still waiting for CLG to sort of warrant their existence.
It's a problem.
Because they have for years been the team where you're like, oh, well, is this the roster that's finally going to break through? They're going to have some good shit? No, it's not the roster. Ethan is the guy who's currently impressing me. He's 17.
I agree.
He's got a lot of mileage ahead of him, and he could still develop into a very good player. I think he's already the best player on that team currently. They need much more from Kusta.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just not going to be competitive. Obviously, like FNS is one of the in-game leaders who just doesn't have the skill to compete, but I think he actually is good enough in terms of the tactical part that he warrants his placing on the team. Cutler, he had that like 3-month sprint at the end of 2015 where he was doing pretty well. Hasn't really come back there, and it's just like. Well, Ricky actually has been better than he was on Renegades. I think he's actually improved quite a bit as an opper on that team. I think he's a good player, but it's just not quite enough. And that team has never been able to put the pieces together to actually have like those couple pretty good placings.
They have these horrible desperation moments where they sort of panic in a panicked way, make a crazy mistake that no one makes. And then they make it and then they lose a series or a game or something. You know,
Also, without that team, if that team wasn't together, we would have never had the KNG moment. Which I mean...
From Finesse as well, and he's like the nicest, most sort of like chill, sort of like non-confrontational person ever. Yet somehow he's just destroyed a team. Well, you know, it's not him destroying a team, obviously, you know, but it kind of looks that way.
To talk about the Ender stuff more, it's sort of the same where the U.S. politics point where people say that, or Hillary says that the WikiLeaks leaks destroyed her and not her actions that were then leaked by someone else. You know, it's sort of the same thing.
All right, well, it is time to go to a break, guys. We'll be setting up.
Usually,
CLG.
it's when we start talking about U.S. politics. That's when.
Yeah, just you know.
Done.
We're done.
Over.
It's CLG Renegades on Mirage after the break. Catch you very shortly. Get wrecked.
The perfect competitive environment. It means no crowds, no distractions. It's not that we don't love the fans. We figured we'd go back to what made us great by recreating the perfect competitive environment.
Can't you win like a car interface? Guys, do you want to take the car?
Tune in to the ECS Season 4 Finals, December 15th through 17th. It's going down in Cancun, Mexico. Live, only on youtube.com/faceit.
FACEIT logo there, FACEIT office and studio, and it's James. How's it going, James? Do you want to say hello to all of my vlog friends?
You're vlogging again?
I vlog all the time. That's what I do. I'm a vlogging fiend.
I don't care about your bloody vlogs. See what crap you've been recording on here.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
It's vlogging. Hello, guys. I'm vlogging. I do this all the time. So let's do it. Hello. Oh, Jesus, that's nice. It's gonna be Blair Witch vlog.
Dan, your vlogs suck. If you think you're a better vlogger than Dan, which probably isn't hard, then you can prove it by entering our competition. Details are below. The winner of the competition will be able to come to our finals in Cancun and vlog at the finals, maybe even from the phone party. If you're a fan of crutches, then get your hands on this. But now let's focus on an even greater product, Taser.com, a competitive gaming platform.
Wow, James, that sure sounds amazing.
It is amazing, Dan. On Taser, you can find the toughest dudes in the galaxy.
I heard it's got all these great features for real gaming.
Yes, it has, Dan. Like a voice communication system. Just post one to your friends.
Wow, James, that sure is cutting-edge technology.
Radios must be within a 10-metre straight line with clear line of sight and sunny weather with no wind.
Do you keep getting wrecked by hacker noobs online? Introducing new Taser security system.
Wow, it's so lightweight. It feels like there's nothing inside.
That's correct, Dan, but there's more.
Behavioural index to keep you from playing with idiots. An easy way to send in your results. Multiple game titles. And here you can see a happy customer.
It's great!
If you sign up within the next 4 minutes, you will get these items for free. James White's best Christmas songs. Watermelon signed by Dan Black.
Fan är det här?
Whoa, I almost wasn't ready there. Production was like 45, 44, 15. It's like, whoa, whoa, that we just lost 30 seconds.
I thought that at some point someone just figured out how to finally make the Earth spin counterclockwise.
Oh, wow.
We could all have longer days.
That'd be sick, actually. I would like a longer day.
See, the only problem with that is, at that point, everybody would have a longer day. There would have to be a way for just you to have a longer day.
Yeah, that would be a nice advantage.
Otherwise, the issue persists.
But, hey, I'll take the longer day, even if everyone else has it, because not everyone is an optimal human being.
That is true.
You could strive to be the optimal human being, where you just make...
Look, I'll still take it. I think I can still work on 6 hours of sleep, so it'll still be an advantage for me.
Yeah, I can't imagine really getting used to 6 hours of sleep every day. Although I was doing that for a while, but not as long as you. I mean, you're doing the finance thing. This is a Counter-Strike show. Welcome to ECS, by the way. Obviously, we have CLG and Renegades coming up, and we just had Renegades sort of... It was a weird exchange that they had against Optic. I felt like there's lots of spots where I'm like, okay, Renegades are good. I think they're going to be able to have the advantage in this matchup, but they just didn't quite work out that way.
No, it certainly looked like they were going to take MURAH at many points of it. And then on train, it looked good until 8 rounds in, or 7 rounds in. And then the 8th round is when everything just went downhill for good and just never came back up. I think Optic finished 14-2 from that point onwards, and that was a save round for them with just 1 op saved. So, I mean, that was a huge problem for them. They just didn't look very good on train. But at the same time, MURAH was good, and CLG hasn't looked particularly impressive in the last couple of months. So while they have their spots, I think especially the first map, which is once again MURAH, is certainly going to favor the Australian guys.
I think that's a very fair assessment. And of course, we do have the Cobblestone follow-up as well. We haven't actually had a lot of Cobblestone lately, which is kind of good, actually, if I'm honest.
It is kind of a bad map.
It's the least interesting one to commentate. It's interesting, like the perspective that you say, okay, bad map, because it's the idea of, is there a good map? Because for example, some people might say, well, Valve think a good map is a map that's balanced as far as let's say it's a 7-8. Let's just say 7-8, that's a balanced map. But in reality, balance should be considered within a best of 3. I think that's like how you sort of look at it. You want to sort of exemplify certain skill sets of Counter-Strike, and some maps are more sort of all-encompassing, and some are not, like Cobblestone. Like, let's say Cash versus Cobblestone, MURAH versus Cobblestone, or most maps versus Cobblestone.
Just all the maps against Cobblestone. Cobblestone is the one where you can't do anything as a CT. T-spawn with map control, and that's it. And this is, I think, a really cool thing about CSGO, is that in CSGO, you really have the opportunity, due to the nature of the pistols, to really have a round, sort of no matter what. And as a CT, side, this is actually one of the reasons why I really like Overpass. I think it's a really cool map to discuss, because from a strategic sense, like, you have so many things to think about from a T perspective and a CT perspective. Both teams can take massive initiative, and you can have an amazing exchange from that perspective. So from a maps, for me, that's like one of the more optimal ways to design a map. So if all maps could be like that, but also at the same time very different to one another, that'd be great. That'd be the sweet spot. But I don't know if we could. If that's the problem, I mean, I also do agree that Overpass is the best map in the game. I think it works for so many different styles of play, and it also allows for the highest level of tactical play out of all the maps in the pool, I think. So it's definitely my personal favorite to watch. This is at the same time, I think it actually is fine to have maps that are just sort of skill heavy that people always talking about, like Cash and Dust 2, because then the teams that aren't skill heavy, they can just kill them. There's not play them, just veto them all day long. So I think it's fine, but I mean, Cobble is like to the very extreme end of it, where the only thing you can do as a CT basically is just try to retake long, and then have control of that.
Yeah, we've only really seen some innovation of deep smokes on long. That's like kind of the only innovations we've seen, but it's just, again, we'll probably get into it when we get into that Cobblecast. It will be the second map, but there's a lot of interesting points to make about CT options versus T options, because the T options are actually so insane that it's going to be an interesting discussion. But as far as the maps go, it's Overpass is definitely like one of my favorites to commentate at the moment, just because I can just nerd out and just go a bit nuts with that. But it's also a map that forces a team to be honest. And if you suck at certain areas of the game, it is so obvious on Overpass. It's so obvious, and that's what I really like about it. It actually makes you honest. But
it's a demanding map.
It is really demanding. So if you're broken, if you can't play good Overpass, you're probably broken as a human, as a team. So fix that. Anyway, we're into the Mirage. We just had one, and now we're back in again.
And it looks like the same pistol that Optic ran. 3 people going out of Palace. Smokes towards jungle and stairs, by the looks of it. And they're going to be rushing CT.
I
Look
love
at that.
this.
Same pistol.
Yeah, this is a great pistol. The funny thing is that Renegades put players on A, so, oh, great grenade, but still, Napfly on the side on the triple is going to have a hard time trying to defend this. Oh, so awkward. So hard. I really feel for him there. It's hard to shoot a guy in the back of the head in this game. But, and also someone who's actually engaging you and dodging you actively is somehow very difficult, but
3v4 retake now for the CTs. It is an easy side to retake, but not on a pistol round.
yeah, you need utility to get the good retakes.
Let's see,
here.
Azure needs to get 1 or 2 kills here very fast. There's one, misses on the second, and Ustillo has been spotted, left in a 1v3. This should be impossible. Gets the first one though, nice shot there. Ricky, oh, gets the second one, but he is running out of bullets. 1 bullet left, and there's not going to be time even if he connects on the kill. He gets the kill, but just not quite enough. So here's my question to you. Do you think CLG, or their coach, actually saw the Optic game and saw that they were ill-equipped to defend against that pistol?
No. I probably no. I'm going to say no.
That's disappointing. I was kind of hoping for that. By the way, the proper way of running that pistol includes the use of nades to kill the guy ticket booth.
Yeah, yeah. Which they did. They actually killed him with the HE, so...
Optic didn't do that, though.
Well, Optic, they need to learn from CLG.
They definitely should copy that part.
The funny thing is that, obviously, CLG is a much weaker team individually on paper, so I would actually expect Renegades to win this fight, but CLG have had a resurgence. The last week, they've been playing pretty well, so we'll see whether or not they are going to be enough today to take down the Renegades, which would really start to ruin a Renegades day, because everything started off pretty well for Renegades from a points perspective in the league, but if they get 4 losses today, that's going to significantly affect their chances, and there may very well be no phone party should they not win these matches.
Well, there's going to be phone parties, Dan. They just might not involve them. So Renegades were 3-3 heading into today's series. Now, obviously, they lost 2 games in a row against Optic, so they're 3-5. So they really kind of do need the sweep here, considering how weak CLG are in comparison to some of the other teams they're going to be facing. Ethan gets the entry kill on JKS. 2 more kills coming in the way of CLG. Make that 3. Last man standing is Azure. He also gets easily taken down. It's a very, very quick round for CLG. 0 deaths.
I believe CLG are currently 7-9, if I'm not mistaken. I am quite sure, and I will now check my notes just to make sure that I am not incorrect. And I am correct, because I am boss. Right. So I love Satsumas. Wait, what? I love Satsumas. That's true, actually. I do love Satsumas. It is the time of year and season for those. Anyway, so all the USPs here for Renegades stock pistols.
It's going to be another quick A hit. Cutler, 2 kills. A couple more by other players. Cutler gets the final. Those were some very fast and efficient anti-eco rounds. 3-0 CLG, and they've got so much money now.
All the money. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deaths in 4 rounds. That's not bad. That's not too shabby at all. So now the interesting thing for CLG is to find a way to get the best use of the weapons that they have. Obviously, keeping the Galil and the UMPs, trying to play super economically. It will definitely... There's no real reason to shop out a UMP or a Galil. You can absolutely effectively use them on the T side. You just sort of want to get them fairly close range, like close to mid-range is going to be how you want to use them. And we get the delayed mid-take coming in now from CLG. Top mid is theirs.
And they got 2 people coming through underground. So it looks like it might end up with them going connector. Bomb is still down in T-spawn. It looks like FNS is going to go back to get it. Ethan gets boosted in window. Naf is on the other side of that smoke. This is going to be interesting.
Alright, so Rick able to get the frag towards B. That's really important because that's going to cause somewhat of a rotation here. CTs must adjust. Ethan!
Interesting picture of FNS as his avatar.
Good old times.
So it's going to be an A hit, but questionably it's going to be 4 players coming in through connector. So this is going to be tough for CLG with both Nifty and it looks like it's JKS by the ramp. So 2 players in the A side, less than 20 seconds left. The bomb needs to be planted. Somehow the bomb gets planted. JKS peaks too late. And while it is a tough round for CLG, it is now a winnable round. So that's a misplay on their part. Azur is the player who holds all the keys here, because he might be able to get a free kill on Kusta depending on whether he's by the stairs or connector, but he's in connector, and that's an easy kill for him. Ricky, does he realize where Kusta got killed? It's a bit of a weird exchange in middle, especially considering he wasn't in front of connector, so he could have just kept shooting it at was it Azur, I think, on catwalk to just guarantee getting that kill. Bit of an unlucky play by maybe not unlucky, but more so mistake by JKS to not peek faster when the bomb was being planted, because if he just got the bomb planter there in that situation, his round's over. But round for Renegades, all the same. Still plenty of money for CLG. And we're heading for another, well, really the first full weapon round, because CLG did keep a couple of weaker weapons.
And it's a brilliant position for CLG to be in. You know, they got the bomb plant, they got 2 kills. I mean, it could be better from that perspective, but it's potentially a reset round for Renegades. They spent quite some money getting all the guns back in place and the utility as well. So CLG are in for a potentially very good spot if they're able to claim an advantage, but they can't. It's nifty to take down Ricket in Palace, which is annoying for Renegades, or rather, sorry, CLG, because I think CLG were going for a triple prone attack should they be able to develop mid control correctly into connector, but now they can change their plan, and a mid round call could perhaps come out to sort of just work on a B split here. We see the bomb moving in towards the apartments, and Molly here towards mid in the window. Azur needs to go down here. Can't get more than 1. Oh, he gets 2, maybe a 3rd. So much damage. Cutler does take down Azur in the trade, but a 2v4 is not favorable, and they don't have the map control that they need. Oh,
Cutler misses to jump to window.
Ooh. Oh no.
Not quite a trick jump. It's more so just pressing the spacebar.
You kind of want them to save right now.
Yeah, no, you should be saving. There's no way you're winning this round after Cutler misses that jump.
But the thing is that it's like that's a spot where your coach has to say it or your IGL has to say it, because like you're always fighting, thinking that you can, you believe that you can do it, and that's what they really believe right now. But the reality is very different. It's very difficult to do anything from this spot. CLG trying to make it happen. Kusta with a very nice shot. Can't get the follow-up. It's just 1. And that's another orb to be collected by the CTs. So that's what you've given away.
I mean, they really had no chance once they jumped into the side at 10 seconds. Even though Kusta got the first kill, and it looked like he could have gotten the second one onto the player inside. Yeah. As long as his teammate still dies 2 seconds from then, they have no chance. So that was just a very, very unfavorable situation for them, where it would have made more sense to save, as you said. But nonetheless, CLG still have enough money left in the bank for a buy round.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. Let's see if they have a different approach here. Obviously, one of the problems last round was losing a player early on towards the inside of the map when A was... It's like you never really want to... Like, until you have position on mid, if you're going to have 3 players in mid, you don't want to lose a man towards the extremities in A. That's a really big problem. Because it's not only somewhat of a cue that you may be going for that A push, but also just it weakens everything dramatically.
And it also makes you worry about whether the CTs might be pushing through there.
Yeah.
Which is obviously another problem. So now, Kusta got the entry kill after a teammate flash for him. Naf was completely blind by ticket booth. Easy long-range duel with an op. Justillo is pushed up in the B apartments, but no one is coming his way. FNS is the closest player, but he's heading towards underground. Oh, that's a well-timed molly. Ricky just barely gets out in front of it, and this could actually work out for Renegades.
Yeah, this
Still
looks
one
really
player
good.
in the site.
This is great from Renegades. Sorry, from CLG, sorry, at the moment. Although Azza is on the site still, he should be able to... Oh my god, almost gets 2 there. The flash was really good. And the 2 remaining players for CLG are really, really low here. So you still his ability to clutch is very, very realistic. Oh, it's a good nade. 2 players
So close to a
weak.
touchdown.
Oh, there it is.
There is the spray. It was a favorable situation for him. That was a good play by Azur going for that peek. Got the first kill, hit the second player by quite a bit, left you still in an easy 1v2, or maybe not easy, but at least a favorable one. See here, dealt plenty of damage, and then here are the 2 kills coming in from Justilo's AK. And finally CLG are on a save round. It looks like they're just going to be going for a quick A attack.
Flashed in, gets the double. Not much more to be had though. Easy cleanup for Renegades. And looks like they're in a position to start to stabilize. I have to say I did like the approach from CLG in the previous round. They got the opening pick in the round, and instead of complicating things, they did it they went for a straight A attack without mid control, which I think is fine because they have the number advantage, but they were not able to deny enough information, and Renegades were a bit prepared for it. And at the same time, there is always the option, if you're confident, to take mid, because if the CTs have lost a play, you cut noise, they'll often give up mid first. So that's always a safe gamble to try to go for mid control after you get the 5v4. But speaking of, we've got Renegades trying to take a very, very forward position in middle.
Was he FNS holding the same angle where Naf got a kill in the previous game? But doesn't look like Renegades are going to be... They still might. Doesn't look like they're pushing through, but they still might. Azur is thinking about it.
Yeah, it's not quite the Fnatic setup, but almost.
They've got a player up on catwalk, I think Nifty, holding middle. So Azur is just turned around in the mid ramp. They're just holding it.
CLG have... Okay, so it's 1 minute almost, and CLG have 0 map. Like, they have no map control at all.
They've done nothing useful in the first 55 seconds, I think is what...
Yeah.
What you're implying.
Absolutely, and it's a big problem because Renegades have 3 in mid, which is awesome because if there is any play in towards A, they have a very fast rotation time. They can easily isolate any lurkers, which they'll also be expecting, as is so common in A plays.
Ricky's the key player this round because he's in underground. He's going to be on the flank. Unfortunately, Kusta is not at all ready for that, and Ricky is actually falling back now because the CT is not present in the middle. This is going to be tough. Ethan gets the entry kill on JKS.
It's pretty big.
FNS going for the plant. Looks like he will get the plant.
Oh no, the positioning here for the T's is awful. Azza called back into mid to try to assist with the lurker there, which was Ricky, but he's going to back away. So now attention has to fall onto the bomb side again for the CTs once more, as Ethan is sitting in the palace position, very weakened. Oh my god, he's so weak. He's sort of playing like he has 100 HP there. I respect that from Nifty, but Ethan runs. But it is CTs here making a big effort, but it's Cutler to get the double to secure it. I don't even know how he managed to pull that one off. Very nice. And that's an equalized score, 4-4.
And he clearly didn't realize that he'd actually killed the last player because he was still going for the pre-fire through the smoke in the 1v0. But good round by...
in the 1v0.
Yeah, it is what it was. Good round by Cutler. Good CLG back on the board. Now Renegades, they still got a pretty good buy this round, but they have absolutely no money left in the bank. So this is CLG's chance to sort of get back into the game.
Is it a big nade? No. It is a nothing nade.
Yes, because there is a 2-pixel corner created right there by the couch that's going to absorb all the damage in the world. You can put a nuke there and live with 100 health. At least if the world operated by Valve's physics. Let's see, Justilo now, the B player. It's going to be a bunch of grenades coming into the site. He's going to be the one player who's going to need to do something. Azur is helping him. Ooh! Yeah, just take that all back. take it all back because Nifty gets 4 kills with a Desert Eagle, and CLG's streams, well, you can consider them crushed.
Oh my god, that is disgusting. Oh my god.
That was a really nice round. I mean, admittedly, it took him a couple bullets to get the 4th kill, but you can't really be too picky anymore after you've got 2 1-digs and killed 3 in total
within about 5 seconds
on a full buy round.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
So now we've gone from potential back-breaking, eco-ensuing round by CLG to Renegades being in full control and CLG being in a save round, and it looks like it's going to be 6-4 in favor of the Australians. And when you look at the score, you think 5-4, yeah, I mean, that's still pretty good for the terrorists, but then you're forgetting the part where they actually started up 3-0, and really it's been fairly one-sided since that point onwards. Nice pop flash for Ethan, but unfortunately Naf gets out of the way first, and once he peeks,
that pop flash
on the shot
was so nice. It gave that CLG player the confidence to peek and then die.
Yeah,
that's one way to look at it. That is actually a hilarious thing, because sometimes a player will make a frag and you're like, wow, that's an amazing frag, but then it's like then sort of like the landslide effect of like it convinces them to then take a fight, which they should take probably, but then that actually commits them to lose the round. That's often what happens. You commit your players into doing things, or commit your team into doing things.
Yep. And sometimes the teammates just make the call themselves. 2 SMGs for Renegades, Azur and Naf. Azur pushing underground. It's not a bad place to be with an SMG, and he's going to hear all the terrorists rushing, well, 4 of them, rushing the beacon side. He is the first one to see the biggest 3, make that 4, and that is a fast cleanup on aisle 3.
That's a really, really, really fast one.
I guess that would be aisle 1 if you start from the far left of the map.
Yeah, logically. Never really thought about it, actually. But, yeah, noted.
Yeah, keep that in mind. 7-4 Renegades. It's been, I would say, very one-sided following the pistol round win.
Yeah.
If he misses the jump,
it looks sort of like...
That's basically a small win for CLG.
Yeah.
You missed the jump. I mean, they had nothing to do with that. But still.
Human error. That's what makes everything in life interesting, is that we as humans are very incredibly fallible and flawed, and we mess everything up.
Yes, I look forward to robots replacing those guys.
Yeah. The problem is that rules will play perfect Counter-Strike, and it'll be really boring.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably just have humans play sports. Otherwise, it would get boring.
It is very interesting.
I mean, I'll still watch Gary Kasparov play chess against Super AI, but I wouldn't watch 2 Super AIs play chess against one another.
Yeah, right? You gotta root for the humans. Whoa. Yeah, we are getting closer and closer to a dystopian sci-fi future, but I have to see if CLG can move themselves into a utopian future with some rounds, some money, some AWPs perhaps.
And CLG taking control of Catwalk. They have 3 people by the ladder room, including the bomb carrier. They've got, I believe, Ethan. Oh, nice shot by Azur. Ethan falling back towards C spawn, but he's been met by JKS. Loses the duel, surprisingly. Bomb's now down in jungle as Nifty gets his 2nd kill of the round. And this is just not looking good for CLG. They also have no smoke, so the bomb is going to be basically impossible to pick up. Ethan, 10 seconds left, no bomb, connects on a headshot, but it just makes no difference, because even if he somehow killed Azur with a Sunny-like spray somewhere behind,
yeah,
Naf still kills him 1 second later. 8-4.
I do feel like, what you said about Ethan earlier, I echo those statements. I think he's been really impressive lately to me, and I'm starting to think of CLG as a team where people will sort of maybe Ethan pluck away,
So you're saying Ryu's made CLG the new Selfless, the farm team for the top North American teams.
No, I think to some extent yes, because CLG themselves haven't experienced a huge amount of success, and I'm sure that's when like Ethan is just very promising as a new player. Rikke is very promising, Kusta is very promising. Finesse and Cutler have been around for a long time, so.
Well, Kusta is one of those players whose value has been somewhat inflated by Jason.
Well, it was inflated and immediately sort of exploded. And then this game.
He's had a couple big games that are never. He had I think the Ely game against Fnatic, I think it was, on Dust 2. That was one.
Dust 2, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, no, that was Season 2.
Damn.
That was I think the season where Denny's had a reason where he couldn't attend the event. And they played, I can't remember who was the stand-in. Let's see, some action up in middle. Naf gets his second kill of the round. Kusta, the man left alive.
Jumpy, presumably?
Yes.
Sorry, Jumpy, I
think
guess.
that was Jumpy.
Well, it's a 9-4, and the money is nuts for Renegades.
Yeah, Ustillo has $12,000. Timeout at 4-9. I mean, I'd probably have considered that slightly earlier, but it is better late than never. If they get these last 2 rounds, it comes to the same territory where it was for Renegades and Optic. Didn't wind up being enough in the end, but 6 rounds is workable. 4 rounds, slightly less so.
Yeah, it's very hinges greatly too much on the pistol round. It'll be insane when the machines take over, start playing Counter-Strike. They'll take, all the humans will be irrelevant. You'll have coldzera playing with the machines, and that'll be it.
When I team up with 4 computers, presumably they're not going to mess up smokes anymore, which I think will be great.
Yeah.
Because I never found smokes to be particularly hard to throw, but that's never been the case with all 4 teammates at the same time.
But then this is the point where you learn that like coldzera is actually better than the machines as well, and you're like, whoa, okay, this is a.
I mean, yeah, for the first tournament, and then the machines will just watch the demos and see what coldzera did, and then they'll be able to do everything he does. 5
colds versus 5 colds. It's like, Anyway, we do have the push in apps here for Renegades, looking to push Palace and get any information that they can possibly gather. And this is always, like, pushing extremities of the CTs can be incredibly effective. You pick the right rounds to do it. And that's a science of
Nifty's going
itself.
to come through now. I think he's going to catch Ethan in the back. Yep. Thinks there might be more. He's not going for the kill. Unfortunately, just Ethan. Is he going to smoke? Nice. Yes.
Nice.
So that's devastating. Now, especially because he knows that there's no one anywhere towards A. So that's going to allow the Renegades players to over-rotate towards the B side for the next 15-20 seconds.
And it's a B split. And the thing is that, as you mentioned, Renegades, they know that the B split is pretty much the only option for CLG. They have 4 players there already. It's all about hitting the shots now, and they are not doing so. It's Kusta and RINGGIT, but Ustillo in a fantastic position, looking for more heads here. Oh, gets himself one more, which is somewhat unlikely, and an important player to kill as well, but at the same time, Nifty's alone. Throwing a flashbang to suggest that he's going to be coming from an angle that he's not. And if he can get the kill onto RINGGIT, if it can be a free kill, because Rick is looking towards Cat, then he's good to go, but Rick is currently looking towards Apps, so he is probably quite screwed. Oh, he looks away again, and there it is. That is CSGO for you. Timing. Oh my goodness, that was so close. Down to 2 points of health. Nifty going full YOLO mode straight into the bomb site now as he looks for the last player. Where on earth is he? Hiding behind the bench, going to have to tap the bomb to try to pressure away Finesse from his hidey hole, but it's almost a frag as well. Good effort.
Out of all the rounds that CLG have lost this half, then that's the one they actually win.
fine. He doesn't want to do too much right now. He needs to allow his teammate, Ethan, to do something first. Ethan's going to come in from the back. He can create distraction. If Cutler pushes at the exact right timing, there may be only like one eye on him, and he can do something. What can Ethan do? Oh, that's so nice. Oh, Ethan gets himself number 2 as well in the bag. And all of a sudden now, Cutler's been unlocked out of that market position, straight into the action. Ethan with another one tap as he pushes forwards. It's just nifty left. He's got a great position to try to defend the bomb after plant as the defuse starts to come in, but it's a long one as Nifty battles against Cutler. He's only got so much time, and he perhaps doesn't realize quite how much time he did have, because this is a very close defuse there for CLG.
Really nice retake by Ethan and Cutler. Obviously, they should have never they should have never had a chance to win this round. Ethan was 2 just sick one-shots here.
Actually 3, I think. Well,
there was a couple extra bullets, but all those 3 kills were the first bullet that he fired.
Yeah, he is beasting.
Really nice round for him. Near full save by Renegades. They got one CZ and 1 P250, and that's all. So they're going to be going for the early buy next round. See if they can do anything with those 2 pistols this round. That's a huge grenade. He's down to 20 health. Oh, wow. Great boost. Really nice boost. And just instantly connected with the P250. FNS now going for the shot. Kusta the next one. Playing whack-a-mole with Nifty. Kusta is clearly too young to have practiced whack-a-mole growing up.
He basically
he just didn't have it.
Yeah, he just jumped out the window, essentially just pushing over the entire appliance, the machine.
Yep.
See,
our generation has had enough practice at that game.
No,
I feel like we would have nailed that. So CLG on another timeout. It's actually a good time to take a timeout, I think, because this is the one round that they really need to win. This probably is, to this point, considering the context of the game, probably is the most important round.
Yeah.
Maybe the second half pistol might have been more so, but if they win this, Renegades are once again broke, and then you're looking at an almost high game with you on the easier side of the map. Especially if they've scouted Renegades in advance, this is where you go over what you remember them doing, what you think is going to be the most likely, and things like that. So, good call by them.
CLG,
definitely like that.
They essentially cannot lose control of the economy, and that's what would happen if they lost this round. As soon as they can't have proper buys on the CT side, I do also fear greatly for their ability to succeed, because Renegades on that CT side of theirs, they showed a lot of strength, and so it's encouraging to see a close setup here, but because Kusa has an AWP, it may get super weird.
Yep, especially because Renegades have sent 3 players. Palace and Ethan just can't connect. Now Kusta's stuck under Palace with an op. That's not going to work. And then Cutler is the player far away with an MP9. So
oh my god,
this is
oh my god,
just not going well at all. Only takes a matter of seconds for Renegades to dominate CLG. Pretty much the only upside in that entire round is the fact that I don't think Renegades even realized that Kusta had an op because he was playing in such an awkward spot. So they didn't pick that up. That's the only thing.
The weird thing in this position is that Kusta and Ethan's setup, because that's really where that's the breaking point in that round, is that their setup did nothing, and so you have to question, okay, was it a good setup? Number one, as we see the push in mid here from CLG with the eco. But yeah, it's like, is it a good setup? You got the AWP close. Typically, when you have the AWP close, you don't see it from that position, because it's a position where you can't stop the push if it's already happening. Like, you need to be with the AWP. What makes sense is to pick off someone just as they're trying to move into position to get the push started, because that gives you the chance to escape without being traded. But if you're sort of playing, I feel like you could maybe categorize positions differently in this way. You could say that it's a reactive position versus a proactive position. So, like, the Shadow is like, you're waiting. I'm waiting for the T's to do something, and that's where he was. Versus playing Pit, where it's like, I am going to take the shot first, then I get to make the decision to run back, which is where you want it to be. And that's where you see most setups.
And it looked like he maybe wanted to actually play close T-ramp, where you actually have the little corner on the side that you can fall back on and get another duel against terrorists just jumping onto your screen, but just didn't work out with Ethan missing that shot.
It's definitely a very flimsy, sort of fragile setup. Perhaps sort of glass cannon-ish, if you will.
5v5, not a ton of money on the CLG side. Let's see. Renegades are grouped up heavily towards the B bomb side. Ethan is going to peek JKS. And this looks like the setup that they were trying to run in the previous round.
Yeah, yeah.
Surprisingly, Kusta actually is the one who connects on the refrag with an op that close. That was a good shot by him. 4v4. Renegades are now rotating towards the A side, so presumably this is actually going to be an A hit after all.
The trade was really good for Renegades, and the fact that Kusa has not moved into like a ticket or something, like a much more passive position.
That's problematic for CLG, because he's going to be the player now stuck in like...
You can't really be in this position, I think, if you're alone as an AWPer.
It's a tough spot, especially this late into the round.
It's risky.
If he doesn't hit this shot, they're in trouble. He doesn't, and now he's going to be shot in the back by the connector guys, and there's an easy kill.
Yeah, this is a big problem. Good trades coming out from the T's here. Renegades able to get that return frag, and it's the bomb down now for Renegades. And it's a 2v2 finesse on the AWP. I'm not sure if he's going to swap out into another gun. I don't think he necessarily needs to. The AWP is actually really useful in these spots because of the way that T's like to shoulder peek certain angles, and the AWP is really good against shoulder peeks. But he does swap out for the M4 actually, and with no kits, no incendiaries. The smoke used for connector. There's no smokes now to prevent some of the shouldering peeking. There's no smokes to prevent the T's from just playing Palace. So a big problem, and against CLG go down. Again, I feel like there's lots of spots where CLG could just play it a little bit better, basically, like small things.
No, I mean when you make 2-3 small mistakes in a round, that's terminal. You don't come back from that.
Yeah.
Some nice shots. Obviously, if Ustillo doesn't basically one bullet Ricky as he peeks jungle, that's a different story. Also, if instead of smoking connector, they use that smoke for palace, that's a different story, because then Naf basically has to swing out at another time. So that was another thing that could have gone wildly differently. Interestingly enough, because Renegades basically played that 2v1 expecting Ricky to swing to the left of the box to kill the... I'm not sure who that was actually. I think it must have been Ustillo in the site. Because of that, they actually gave, with Naf swinging out of Palace, actually gave Ricky a chance to take 2 one-on-one aim duels that were guaranteed to him because they couldn't fall back from that point onwards. But because Naf connected on the first shot, it ended up mattering.
Yeah, well, it's going to add up to that 13-7 to could be a 14-7 as Renegades are in a great spot here against the Pistols as they're going to spot out the aggression on the pass. Just a simple cleanup here.
And that's a fast round. Renegades really have done a fantastic job on the anti-eco rounds.
Yeah, it can't really be understated. The weird thing with those anti-ecos is that it's the least forgivable to have sloppy rounds on anti-ecos because it's the most predictably played round. Like, you can actually create drills and routines that will actually play out as they do in an actual match scenario. Even if you lose a player to like a 1-dig or something, like you can have backup plans which you can drill, you can routine, because it's very difficult for the Pistols to play out of position and to play into forward positions. So it's harder for them to capitalize.
I suppose part of that though is that CLG just don't have the individual skill to match a lot of teams, and that is how you do win those.
That's true.
Those eco rounds.
That's a good point. Yeah.
FNS spots JKS. Wins the first duel. Here's JKS near. Ricky, the former teammate of the Renegades players, gets the second kill of the round. Azure also down to just 50 points.
I like how you keep pointing out that Ricky used to be on the Renegades. It's like, well, look at this. These guys are just kind of shafting you right now.
Well, he was only the second time. Someone might have tuned in who wasn't around long enough ago to know.
True.
Cutler gets the kill in Azure. Not only does the Molly not go to the window where he would have been exhausted.
It's actually hilarious how that works out. Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, I'm not going to make a comment about this.
Okay, 2v5, nifty 35 health. Effectively, Renegades need the first 2 entries and then a whole lot of other things to go their way to have a chance this round. Seems very favorable for CLG, but let's see. I think it's Ethan in the bomb site, and he's playing a pretty nice spot in the sense that Renegades can't just force an aim duel against him. If he displays this passive angle, he should be able to get the first kill. And the problem is, they get the first kill, it's round over.
Yeah, it's actually so awesome to see him there and just not moving. Nice pickup, but again, Ethan doesn't have to do anything. Alarm happens, and there it is, easy kills. And that's like that's the beauty of. So this is like another thing to recognize. There are certain spots in the game where, like, that's a terrible spot, obviously, for teams rushing that position because they can spam you, they can throw an A's there. These are all things that will give away a position. So that's fine on a rush if you're the T side, but if you're the T side and you don't want to rush because you need the element of surprise, suddenly as a CTs, having positions where you're deep somewhere is very effective.
It's different spots, different scenarios. Sorry. Makes sense. Kusta gets the opening kill on Ustilo, who is moving quickly towards catwalk.
3 ops is an interesting choice.
Well, see, when nothing works, you can sort of try something different.
Something different. 3 ops.
You don't have a luck. Listen, man. I've been down 9-0 against Fnatic in a grand final of a tournament, and we bought 5 ops. We won 5 of the 6.
Why?
We bought because nothing worked. We won 5 of 6 remaining rounds and 11-2 on terrorist side.
Oh man,
true story. So there is a precedent for getting 5 ops. They're just doing 3, so that's obviously not enough.
They're not desperate enough.
Exactly. They should have gone for 5.
Oh well, Kusta. Oh my God, that's so unlucky for Azza.
I actually think that was the first time today when a terrorist got boosted that the terrorist was the one
to die.
Didn't get, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is pretty high value.
Cutler.
Good shoulder peeking.
Cutler misses the shot. Exactly. That was very good shoulder peeking. Did not peek too wide to get taken down. Ethan gets a kill. Easy kill for Cutler as JK is moving out wide. And now it's Nafwide 1v4 and there's nothing he can do. Even if he got that kill, it would have been too many CTs left for him to deal with.
You almost want like a couple players to die there for CLG if you're on CLG, just because Renegades, like in a round like this, they should be running a set piece onto A or, well, probably A or B. Maybe like both sides can work really well because they saw all the AWPs. Like they surely have to, like if you just do like a fast set piece here, it's going to be pretty crushing for the Orbs to try to retake or even try to get a shot off. And it looks like they may be doing it towards B.
So CLG actually dropped off one of those ops and picked up a rifle. So, you know, that tells you that was definitely a mistake on their part the previous round. Good molly there in B apps. It's going to slow down Renegade for a bit. Grenade, very close, but just doesn't do almost any damage at all. And here comes the push. It's going to be nades, flashes, the smokes and flashes rather, coming into the site. FNS gets the first kill. Blinded, cannot get the second. Gets a kill. Kusta misses. Kusta connects on his second shot. Very, very clean round for CLG.
I think that's
fast rotation by them.
Renegades had the right idea, but I think that obviously their B execution is not as good as their A execution. I think there's some teams that have like really good B pushes. The Danish hot teams, definitely. The Danish teams probably do it the best of anyone in the world. So they're ones to look out for. But yeah, I would have preferred to see the A from Renegades. But yeah.
Another kind of a weak pistol buy. So just P250 Steagles, CZ. And CLG are actually inching their way closer. It's now just 10-14. Of course, as soon as I say that, Kusta gets killed. But Ethan with a timely peek to get 2 kills in the back. The last 3 terrorists are all walking out in the A side. And Ethan's in a prime spot to stop this push.
Ethan's doing really well.
Does not connect on the 4th. But it still should be good enough where CLG should be able to not only win this round, but also stuff the bomb plant. Let's see. Nifty with just 15 points of health. Naf with 28. Naf is actually running all the way back towards B. So Nifty's one sort of faking A, and it looks like they're just hoping for the bomb planet. But I mean, you really couldn't be much more obvious than a player with a deagle just spamming the walls. And that's touchdown for Cutler.
Yeah, Naf sort of just, I mean, there's not much he can expect or hope from this situation, but
no, the best case scenario is he just gets lucky timing and somehow gets a bomb planet, but that's not even that very likely to happen. He's obviously been spotted now.
I think he tried to fake. He was running back as well.
Yeah, no, he was.
There's not much you can do though.
Stop jumping straight up, easy kill for Ricky. Let's see Ethan. That was a big play by him to get those 2 kills after Kusta's early death. 14-11 now. Obviously, tons of money for Renegades to buy, but also CLG are finally stacking up money in the bank. They're going to have money even if they were to lose one. And all of a sudden, we do have a game, finally. So this is, in a way, I think this is sort of the opposite of the Renegades Optic game.
Insofar as...
Insofar as CLG are now the ones mounting a comeback in the second half.
Right.
But it also, once again, doesn't look like it's going to be enough, just like was the case for Renegades. But let's see. Renegades take a timeout. This is their first in the game. 25 rounds into it.
A set piece, just go. I don't care if you do a default or anything like that, just go for it. Come on. It's not going to happen, is it? Or is it? Well, Nifty's got a great spawn for A, so he's probably going to go for the quick peek. And then one.
Oh, they are going for the A.
So they're going just for a fast set piece. I think it makes a lot of sense to do this. The CLG are not a very aggressive team as well, so they're not going to often have like big mid pushes or early B pushes. In comes the set piece, and it's all about running the gauntlet, and Ethan is just smashing the offense. A 2K from JKS, they needed 2K, but Ethan has really left an indelible mark on this round.
It looks like Renegades are going to be able to get the bomb down.
Naf, you got the bomb, mate. You've got the bomb. Naf. Oh, man. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Surely at this point you actually commit to going to CT spawn.
It actually makes sense.
Because when would the CTs have expected that? So once you swing for that, I think you should have just committed.
I like that they're trying to take a 2v1 there, and I like your plan as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. They go for the plant, so it's all fine in the end. But could still go for a push, a big play perhaps. Naf's going to get Molotov back. And instead of trying to go for the full rotation, now JKS is committed to try to defend from the bomb site itself. As he moves forward, looks for the additional kills. He's going to have to waste if he wants to win this round. They're all challenging him. Nice tap there from JKS. He's got 4. He can't get the 5th one. It's Ricky to get the kill and the defuse.
Really nice play by him in the 1v3. I mean, that 1-bullet kill just gave him a shot in a completely unwinnable round. See Ethan here just cleaning up on the 3 players coming up T-ramp. Great round by him. He's obviously topping the scoreboard for CLG. 22 kills now. And it's another Renegades timeout.
Jeez, how many times do they have? I think we should remove timeouts from our league. How about that?
14-12 now in favor of the Australian, well, mostly Australians at this point.
They're mostly Aussies.
Mostly enough to still go through the Asian qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's a tactic. And here we go. So we've now exhausted the A option preferred by Dan. Map control has yielded no results.
It was close.
B push has yielded no results.
To be honest, that's what
where do
Optic
we
were
go
doing.
from here?
Optic were doing that too. They were just like, well, nothing works apart from A pushes, so we'll just do that every time. And they actually, I mean, they did have enough of a CT side that they only had to win a couple rounds, so it worked out eventually. But
well, for them the difference was that they had a worse CT side. The difference is that they won the terrorist pistol round. That was the big difference for them. But let's see. Not a perfect smoke. Naf is just going to get out of the way, but that's a good grenade.
So some light mid control there from Renegades. And CLG, do they have a B up apps push? Or are they just holding? That's just, a B apps push would be really, really awesome right now to see, because it's a pretty big risk, but it would basically tell CLG everything.
FNS is pushed up, but he's not actually going through.
Yeah.
I think he gets the opener on Azure. He's trying to go up connector, so that also tells CLG what Renegades are up to, but they might not think that there is already a second player there. Risky spot for Justillo, of course, because he is fully open to anybody going there. Looks like CLG have 2 players in the B apartments, but of course that's not going to matter because Renegades are hitting A, and Cutler is making so much that Justillo has to know he's there and he gets the kill. Now 2 Renegades players low on health and attack on the A bomb site. Make that 3 players low on health, basically all 4 to some extent. next 2 kills are going to be huge.
Oh, Rick with the whiff. The luck is doing the job. Down to 16 health, and Naf will escape through T-spawn. And there's so many issues here that have been caused to the CLG players that he's going to have plenty of time to get into position. And Finesse is now in the 1v3. Again, many low players, but it's going to be tough to find them all.
There's just not enough time to work. Unless CLG make a mistake, and Nifty actually connects on the kill, FNS doesn't hit the shot. 15-12, map point. CLG still have some money, but actually not enough for a full buy for all of them.
That might be an issue. I would love to see from Renegades the super fast connector rush split on A. You go like 3 or 4, maybe 4 through connector, 1 on pit. I actually think that's an awesome round. You already see it. It's the very fast timing of it is really sort of what can catch people off guard, and A has been working for them.
You definitely want to keep going A, because that is where you have won the rounds that you've won.
Yeah.
In hindsight, that one round where Kuzma got stuck under Palace could actually be the difference maker, because without that, I think that led to a save round for CLG.
Yeah.
But let's see, 15-12. Win this round, and the Americans are still back in it.
So all the little details here from Renegades to take middle.
That nade is going to land.
Some damage. Nothing too much to worry about there for Nifty and Nistillo.
The grenades really are random, though.
They are, yes.
It's really hard to tell when they're 2 feet off again versus 3 feet off. And one of those is going to do 80 damage and the other 10. Cutler just barely saved.
JKS is moving in to position at the moment, and he's got 2 players under him. Is he going to drop off? Oh, that's huge! Oh, he should never get 2 kills there.
No.
Never, ever, ever. And he does. And that's the A bomb site completely open. They know it. As it gets an entry towards the apps as well. You couldn't really ask for more. But Rikke, they are feeding into the Rikke machine. What is happening? This is a disaster. They've got the bomb down, but there's a chance suddenly for CLG despite everything. And Nat finally gets rid of the danger point of Rikke, and it's just Cutler with a fan nest now. It doesn't look so intimidating, and they win the match. Oh my god. I thought that was going right.
That looked like that could have been another 2v5 win in the B bomb side for CLG. Of course, especially because NAF committed for the peak at the very end. That was risky because Ricky was actually holding that very angle. Of course, in the end, hits that shot, gets the second headshot on the player. Coming out of kitchen through a window, 16-12 Renegades. And they're halfway through to equaling those 2 losses from earlier with 2 wins of their own. Next map, of course, Kabul. I believe that is CLG's pick in this 2-map series.
Renegades.
Oh, yeah? Interesting.
According to my information, I'm not sure if my information is correct, but I think it's Renegades map. Yes, so that will be very interesting, and we can go into it in depth in a moment. I think as far as this Mirage was concerned, I feel like there's a lot of interesting issues for both teams. I think Renegades have some setup issues on their A site. You know, we saw some spots where I feel like Kusta was in like weird positions on the A site with the AWP, and it's like, okay, we can just play a bit safer. The round will be completely different. It's been a few interesting spots from that perspective. I think that CLG could have asserted themselves more commonly on middle. I think there was more pushes to be had on the CT side. You know, B apps, Palace, Renegades are quite active. CLG were not as active as Renegades. I think that could be something to look into. But generally, you know, Renegades, they always looked like they were going to come ahead with a W in this.
No, I mean, they were the front runner from start to finish, basically. CLG got somewhat into it, especially towards the end, but at all times, it did kind of look like at one point or another, doesn't matter at what point, Renegades were going to walk away with it. Kind of a slow game for Kusta.
Yeah, he didn't really get himself going at all.
From a statistical point of view, just 15 kills, 24 deaths.
No big moments for him with the AWP at all. I don't think.
Ethan, of course, had the best game by far for CLG. 23 kills.
Yeah, he did a great job. It's actually a pretty cool performance from him. And this, what was it? The pistol round, I think, in particular. I was just like, whoa. It's like, all right.
That was a really nice round. He obviously does have a high level of individual skill that allows for those flashy plays at times.
Yeah, you can see those like young fibers at work. It's good to see. But yeah, as you said, moving into cobblestones, we're going to set that one up after a quick break. We're a little bit past the hour, so we'll see you guys after said break for the last map of the evening.
The perfect competitive environment. It means no crowds, no distractions. It's not that we don't love the fans. We figured we'd go back to what made us great by recreating the perfect competitive environment.
Can't you win like a car in faces? Guys, do you want to take the car?
Tune in to the ECS Season 4 Finals, December 15th through 17th. It's going down in Cancun, Mexico. Live, only on youtube.com/faceit.
Faceit logo there, Faceit office and studio, and it's James. How's it going, James? Do you want to say hello to all of my vlog friends?
You're vlogging again?
I vlog all the time. That's what I do. I'm a vlogging fiend.
I don't care about your bloody vlogs. See what crap you've been recording on here.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
It's vlogging. Hello, guys. I'm vlogging. I do this all the time. So
Let's do it. Hello. Oh, Jesus, that's
it's gonna be Blair Witch vlog.
nice.
Dan, your vlogs suck. If you think you're a better vlogger than Dan, which probably isn't hard, then you can prove it by entering our competition. Details are below. The winner of the competition will be able to come to our finals in Cancun and vlog at the finals, maybe even from the phone party. You're a fan of Crutch.
Welcome back to ECS. It is time for the last map of today. We've had some interesting Counter-Strike, and it's time to cop things off with Cobblestone. And we already